Here's a box of Honda Ascot parts because I just sold the Ascot. And the bike is being loaded up and it's gonna go to a new home.
Alright, so hold on, ain't gonna work.
And there it goes. There goes the Ascot. The Ascot. This was its place and it's gone. I sold it yesterday. Good guy. Spencer. Spencer bought the bike. Alright, let's start this hog. It is warm. Kind of warm and wet. So yesterday it was absolutely freezing, but today it feels pretty decent. Yeah, guys. You know, I put my Ascot up for sale. And I got so many people that were interested. And a lot of people that were interested in the Honda Ascot, they were messaging me from out of state. The guy that bought it, Spencer, really nice guy. He's a young guy who's going to be fixing it up even more. You know, I think I did a pretty good job fixing it. And I'm only selling it because I want to get another bike to fix up as a project. And I'm doing it mostly because I want to show you guys different types of bikes, but also it's a learning experience for me. But that Honda Ascot, I put it up on various like sites, and lots of people wanted it, and I could have gotten more money out of it if I waited until it was warm. But man, Spencer came yesterday when it was freezing. It was absolutely freezing to test it. And the bike, you know, it starts, it runs, you know, it just needs a little bit of work here and there. There's some electrical gremlins happening. There's a little bit of a lag when it starts, but man, yeah, that's a beautiful bike. And the cool thing about that bike is that it's not losing value. These Honda Ascots don't lose value anymore. So if you buy a Honda Ascot for like $1,900, $2,000, it's not going to lose its value. I mean, you can sell it for less, but there's always somebody interested in buying it for, you know, the same price. Even though I spent a lot of time fixing the Ascot and money, I really didn't make much money off of it. So it was a labor of love. And I'm just kind of glad that it's going to go to a good home, because for me, I love riding it, and I was hoping on, if I didn't sell it, I was going to take it to some bikes and coffee things just to show it off, because it is such a cool bike. So Spencer came with his father, and these guys they have all of these old cars that they're fixing. It's kind of these father-son projects that they have. And they came in the old F-150 from '93, so they're really into it. And I kind of like it when my bikes go to people that really appreciate them. So there's a lot of potential new bikes I could be looking at. It doesn't have to be an older bike, it could be just like whatever. I was looking for some of the maxi scooters, the Honda Silverwing. I'm also looking for the Honda CX500 and the GL500. Also some of the old Goldwings. Some of the old Goldwings, they were 1,000, and they're kind of like standard looking. Looking for Yamaha T-Maxes. I'm not sure I want to do the Kimco thing again. I'm probably looking for Honda Reflexes. They're 250 cc's. But for me, anything that I can find a good deal is probably it. And I've also been starting to look for the V-Stroms again. You know, the V-Stroms, I think, are still one of the better buys you can get in motorcycling. Like, when I reflect on bikes I've had, they really are some of the better handling, the better budget adventure bikes that I've ever had. And it's kind of amazing because I've had many bikes, and you never hear about the V-Strom. You never hear about like the old V-Strom, especially the first and second gen. Like, you know, everybody wants the new stuff, but it's like the old stuff, there's nothing broken, so why fix it? And I kind of think that the old style of the plastic and everything of the V-Strom looks better than the new style. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I've also started to look for a V-Strom 1000 because I've been very bashful of that bike because I did ride one and I didn't like it. And I was riding with a V-Strom 650. I rode the 1000 and I kept telling myself, yeah, the 1000 is definitely not as good. It doesn't handle as good. It's kind of like the Super Tenere with less power. It was just heavy. It didn't feel that good. It was a nice V-twin, but if you're gonna get a nice 1000cc V-twin, you know, get something like cooler than that. The V-Strom 650 is the one to get in my opinion, but I'm curious about the 1000. Thing is an old CBR 900 900RR or 929RR. You know, it's weird, like those bikes used to be everywhere and now you just don't see them. Another bike that I've always had the hard on for is the RC51. And you know, a lot of this is like Hondas that I'm looking at, but I'm also looking at other stuff. It's just, these are the ones that are popping into my head. The RC51, I've always enjoyed it. Even the ones from like 2000, 2001, they still look good. And I want the one that's silver and red, not the black one. I really just want that color scheme. That is a classic bike. Now the problem with that, I have looked for it before, and the problem is, like, the people that get them, they completely destroy them because of, they put stupid graphics on. That bike is beautiful. That bike is just absolutely a beautiful bike, but people think they have better taste than they actually do. It's kind of like women. You know, women, when they move into a house, every single woman you talk to thinks that her idea of color is really the coolest, most tasteful idea. Then you ask another woman, it's a different color, and then, you know, but it's like the conviction that they have that it's the right color and theme. It's the same thing with guys with cars and motorcycles, but the right thing is really just to be very basic. You know, whatever came with your bike, that's probably the best style. Don't change it. It affects the resale value. Another bike that I'm looking for that's very rare is the Yamaha TDM 850. And I kind of missed one in Ohio. And I was going to go there, but the guy sold it before I could get there. Look at these people in their haciendas. These are nice houses, especially over there at the patio. And I'm also looking at cars, but you know the problem with cars, I don't understand them as much. And I'm just not as into cars as I am motorcycles and scooters and bicycles. Cars are just kind of dull, but there are some cars that I do like, that I would like to get. There's the Miata, there's the Del Sols, there's the SC300 and Lexus SC430. I really like the SC430, but their prices, man, they're like consistently high. And not for what the original was. It's like the original was like 50,000. You can get them for, I think, like 6,000 is the minimum up to 10,000. 10,000 is like an average for a 2005. I'm also looking at Toyota FJ Cruisers. I really like those. A car I would also like to get, which is kind of weird, it's a Toyota Solara. I don't know, I've always been curious about those because they give you such a good bang for the buck, and they're essentially just Camrys. Yeah, there's lots of bikes that I could get. Another one's a Honda Nighthawk 750. That seems to be a cool bike. 4 cylinders, shaft drive. I don't want the ones with the chain for some reason. Go around, go around. Well, I'm definitely going to miss that little Ascot. But you know, for me, it's all about finding the next bike. I rode that, I kind of got to see what it was about, and I try not to be attached too much to bikes. You know, there are bikes that I do want to keep for a while. The Super Tenere is one of those. I like the KLR, but when I'm looking at those bikes, I go, man, you know, they're kind of doing the same thing. So I don't know how long I'll keep both of them. I think the KLR 650 is a little bit more expensive than the Super Tenere, which is kind of hard to believe because you get so much more out of the Super Tenere. What are you doing, buddy? Just want to like look at him. I could just cut him off if I want. He's got a crab in his car. He's got crabs. It's probably a woman. Seeing what kind of person this is in the E-Civic. Usually they don't cut people off, but it's got a big head. Whoever's in there has got a huge head or a hat. I want to look at this person. It's an old man. It's an old man. Okay, never mind. And he kind of looked at me. Okay. See, I gave him the stink eye, and that's good. I didn't yell at him. I'm proud for not yelling. It wasn't that bad. I just kind of exaggerated a little bit. I didn't appreciate it, but you know, in the city you kind of have to do that sort of stuff. It's a fully electric car. That's pretty nice. You can get these for like $15,000 used. They're $40,000 cars. This is a straight. Hey, what are you doing? South Carolinian. He did wave, so you gotta let him breathe a bit. But I thought he was gonna collide into me. He is driving an Audi. Those are douchebag cars, but you know, he's probably like a rich douchebag. Oh man, look at this car. Texas buyer. Oh, this vehicle temporarily registered. This guy's from Texas. That's interesting. Can you register in Texas? She thought I was going to run her over. At 1, 2, 3 tents. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there. We're just going to go around DuPont Circle really quick. I think when I first started working here, there were no tents popping up, or I didn't see these tents. I mean, there's Starbucks. I mean, it's convenient. A lot of tents. Look at that tent right over there. It's in that heating vent. You know, these guys have really good tents. Is that another tent over there? Yeah, there's another tent over there. And there's like a cop on the sidewalk. This Camry looks terrible. Oh my god, what the hell were you thinking? My god, this thing just looks horrible. See, this is when that whole parallel of women always thinking they know the right colors to paint the house. This is the same thing with the guys. It's like they know the right colors to paint the car. Look at that. It's just terrible. Terrible. There's like little blood splatter things, and then there's like these little horns sticking out the roof. And you know what? The best that you could possibly do is leave the car completely stock. You know? Go neutral. It's like, why do you want to stand out that much?
So I limped to the nearest saloon, crawled inside a whiskey bottle, and I've been there ever since.
Kind of stuck here. The cops won't bother me.